In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the steps towards success. So this is a guide through your biology class and a way for you to prepare for a biology exam. So your instructors are all aware that taking online courses has always been a challenging prospect, especially if you're used to seated classes. So I put together this workflow chart to help you guys kind of navigate some of the resources you should find in your biology course. Okay, so we're going to start with introduction to the materials. So this should be your first steps to success. Okay, so during this time you should do things like working on vocabulary, looking at your learning objectives, looking at the lessons, and reading your textbook. So your vocabulary is your foundation. This is where you need to start. Okay. In our course for Bio 110, I've provided you with vocabulary lists. They are posted in the weekly folders with the Word document of your learning objectives. I strongly suggest that you guys use those vocabulary words. I strongly suggest that you guys define these words in your own terms. Okay, so you can use resources such as your glossary to help you look up the definitions, but if you take the time to put these definitions into your own words, it will help you internalize those definitions and commit them to long-term memory. I do want to throw a warning out there. Sometimes when you Google terms, it's not always providing you the definition in the correct context. So looking in your textbook in the chapter or in the glossary is going to be more accurate. Okay? You may not have an incorrect definition from Google, but it might be incorrect in this particular situation. Okay? Note cards are a great way to study vocabulary. So you can use these to help you memorize those vocabulary terms. Okay. So your second step to success is going to be reading your learning objectives. So I mentioned that these are posted as a Word document in Blackboard. You can also find them at the beginning of each lesson, okay, for our soft chalk lessons. The learning objectives are designed to be kind of a study guide to help you through these lessons and know the key ideas and concepts that you should understand at the end of the lesson. So at this point, I suggest you just read through those learning objectives and become familiar with them as you work through the next step for success, completing your lessons. As you work on these lessons, you need to take notes, just like you were sitting in an actual classroom. If there are videos, make sure that you are also watching the videos, okay, in regular time, not speeding them up, and taking notes on the videos as well. If you're using soft chalk lessons, there are often practice questions built in. So take the time to really understand those and practice those questions as a self-check to see where you're at. So some other tips for success. Keep your learning objectives nearby as you're working on these notes. Okay? And also find a distraction-free zone to complete your lessons. So try to find a quiet place where you can watch videos and take notes undisturbed, so you don't have other videos playing in the background. If possible, no children running around in the background. Okay, so a nice quiet place. Your next step for success is to read your textbook. And again, while you're doing this, take some notes. So a few other tips I have for this. You can chunk the material. So don't try to read an entire 50-page chapter all at one time. Break it down by the sections. Okay? And as you work, you should also be taking notes in your textbook. So I suggest either outlining the chapter or using a strategy such as Cornell-style notes to help you kind of work your way through that chapter and write down the key points. Once you've been introduced to the material, it's time to practice what you've learned. So step 5 towards success is completing your assignments, and then after that you need to review. So most biology classes will have some kind of assignment posted each week that will help you practice the concepts you've learned in your lessons. And another tip is to use a planner to help you keep track of your due dates for assignments, lessons, and quizzes. Once you've completed your assignments, it's time to start reviewing. Okay, use your notes that you've taken both from the lessons as well as from the textbook. You can also combine these notes into a single set of study notes, and while you do that, refer back to those learning objectives. So make sure that you're including answers to those learning objectives in your study notes. And quick tip, highlighters come in handy whenever you're using your learning objectives. Those are key ideas that you really need to know. So if you highlight those in your notes, it brings it to your attention that this is something crucial that you need to understand. Once you've practiced, it's time to take your quiz. Our biology class has a weekly lecture quiz. So again, after you review, make sure you take that quiz, do your best. Again, use your planner and calendar to help you keep track of due dates for when these quizzes are due. Your next step is going to be practice and review. So step 8, review the graded quiz. In Blackboard, you can actually look at the answers for your quiz and see what you put and if you got the question right or wrong. So this is a good way to kind of fine-tune your studying. You can take notes on those quizzes and try to figure out where you need to spend more time. Okay, when I say take notes on quizzes, don't write down the question exactly. That's not actually helping you study and commit information to memory. You don't need to memorize the questions. You need to understand and be able to apply the concepts. So if you write down key terms and ideas about what you've missed, then you can go back to your notes and really focus on those ideas and making sure you commit them to long-term memory. Once you've gone over your quiz, it's time to study some more. So review those notes, rewrite them again, look at them at least one more time. I strongly suggest starting to study for exams at least a week before the test. In our biology class, you can also retake your quizzes. So you can go back to those lecture quizzes after you've studied and take it again. You'll get new questions, some old questions, all mixed in, and it'll help you again prepare for the exam and make sure you're truly understanding each of the concepts. So some other tips before your exam, make sure you get a good night's sleep. Tired brains struggle with recalling information. You can start a study group in teams to help you practice and review for the exams. One good study tip there is to take turns teaching each other the topics or quizzing each other back and forth about the different concepts. Make sure you're using the additional resources provided by your instructor. So for example, in our class, we have study guides and occasional practice documents that are optional. And those are great ways to help organize some of your thoughts and some of these more complex topics. And they're there to help you guys study for the exams. There are additional resources in the resources folder as well. That's linked in each of your weekly folders. There are often articles, games, and other tools to help you prepare and practice. Another study strategy is using your textbook. There are review questions at the end of each chapter. You can answer those questions and use those as another way to practice. Many times the answers to those questions are in the back of your book, so you can look it up and check yourself as well. My last tip is to write down questions as you go. So if you're struggling with a particular question or topic, keep a little notebook as you study and write your notes. Write down the topics you need help with, and then attend office hours or ask your study group to help you figure out those key ideas. This brings us to actually taking your exam. And by this point, you guys should be confident and prepared. So you can do it. I know that you guys can work hard and make your way through this biology class. All right. So these again are some steps towards success. These are study strategies that have been proven and other students have used to successfully pass biology classes. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Good luck and have a great week.